Hello, 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 and good morning. What is up, all of you beautiful nerds? Welcome to the morning stream here on the Den of Nerds Live. The very best way to start your nerdy day. On today's show, we're talking about some Marvel rumors. Rumors that Captain Marvel 2 might be A-Force. Very interesting rumors about that. Of course, people might freak out a bit, but from what I've heard, there's actually an organic and pretty interesting explanation for how this could happen. We're going to dive into that. We're going to talk about if we like this. Do we hate this? What do we think fans will say? We'll get into that. I want to talk a little bit about the Clone Wars, right? Clone Wars Season 7. New episode came out earlier in the morning. What did I think about it? Spoiler alert. Didn't really like it that much. We'll get into it. Also want to go over the news from yesterday about the Sony Marvel movies that are coming out. Solo and Man-Wolf? What is the deal with that, guys? We're going to talk about that. We might even go into the theater and watch a little video on Spider-Woman because I keep seeing Spider-Woman pop up in every freaking thing, and I still don't understand why people like Jessica Drew. So we're going to maybe go into the theater and check that out. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. How we doing here? I see David, Wu-Tang Wells, Yinzer Jim, Hector, X-Ball, Marvel Maniac, Justin J. Orts, Bill M., Travis, Jason Preston's here, Mike Porter's here in the morning. What's up, everybody? How are we doing? How are we doing? How are you handling your social distancing? How are you handling? In response to your video from yesterday regarding Solo, is that the same character Mario Van Peebles played in the 90s movie Solo? Ooh, that's interesting. I have no idea. I'll have to look into that, brother. I'll have to look into that. How are we handling all of this distancing? Are you stir crazy? How you guys doing? Awesome. I'm at home. Amen. Amen. Social D&D. Yeah, Jason, man. Jason. A little off subject for the stream, but I tell you, the guys are pretty excited to be playing some D&D tonight. Social distancing. I was made for this. Nice. Justin says, I'd argue pre-MCU movie Jessica Drew more popular than Captain Marvel. Spider-Woman had her own cartoon. That's true. That's true. She did. I just must be missing something. You know what I mean? I want to talk about that. I want to kind of get into that, dig in. What's up, Trinity? Rose Sachs. What's going on, everybody? What is going on? All right, Chet. Put a little put the chill music on. We got to talk about something a little bit serious, okay? I want to take just a second to talk about something a little bit more serious, okay? So, I was made aware of a couple of things yesterday with regards to what's going on, obviously, in the world. Charles Murphy shut down his Patreon yesterday, which was the right thing to do. His Patreon is particularly set up in a way in which he will spill out leaks early to people. Some of the things that he's hearing, he puts the leaks out early for people. I know that Charles was actually struggling with his site in general just before that. Charles and I speak a little bit here and there. And it's just tough out there. Look, independent media, one of the small people out there, it's tough. Okay, it's tough before the craziness that happened. It really is. It's tough to get people to go to your website, to check your website, to check out your brand when you're on the come up. It's tough. You know what I mean? Jeremy Conrad put out an article yesterday talking about how it's rough. It's rough for him, like really rough, more rough than maybe I would have thought. Okay, he was talking about how people that run sites like his use it as sort of ancillary income. They usually have a second job. It doesn't bring in all the money. You know what I mean? And it's a little bit rough there. With what's going on in the entertainment industry right now, it is tough to get actual news and actual scoops. And for many of these junkets and outlets, that is their bread and butter. You know what I mean? Getting that inside scoop. It's all dependent on and it's all contingent upon the big tentpole movies coming out there, the big things happening. Even us on this channel, 100% transparency, 1,000% real with you. We are already being impacted by this and severely impacted by it. Ad revenue is going to go down. I've already seen it go down a good bit. And it's going to go down likely even further. But beyond even ad revenue, it is hard for us to do videos that will blow up, that will get a ton of big views without big interest out there online. This just has to do with a lot of the way the algorithm works. The way the algorithm works, it takes into account how popular the subject matter is, how much are people searching for this, how many people are interested for this. As an example, some of the videos that we have done recently are hitting on all the metrics that they should be hitting on. Their click-through rate is very strong. People are watching the video for a long amount of time, but the difference is the interest for the subject matter, for what is the actual info, what we're going over, is not very high. And therefore, the videos are not doing super well. And so even we are being impacted about this. I'm going to have a meeting with the executive producers tomorrow. We have a lot of great support on Patreon. It's going to help kind of cushion us through these hard times. But I have to say to all of you, if you want to support your favorite creators through this time, including us, you can like videos, you can share videos, consider checking out our Patreon. Consider checking that out. $1 a month goes a long way. You could check that out. Consider checking out Jeremy Conrad's article and his Patreon. Jeremy Conrad is going through some rough stuff. If you could check it out, that would be great. Yeah, so look, it's just kind of a weird thing to talk about. I'm not super into talking about it, but people brought it to my attention yesterday. It was something I definitely wanted to consider. These guys, and we're all kind of in this together. We're all kind of connected together. And so even though, for instance, our work here on the channel will not stop, we will continue to be putting out content for you, the amount of money we will be making from that content will drastically go down. It already is. So it's rough times out there. It's scary times out there. If you can support some of your favorite creators, including us, of course, consider checking out our Patreon. Consider checking out Jeremy Conrad's Patreon. I highly, highly, highly recommend checking out Jeremy's Patreon. Jeremy, friend of the channel, has been on the channel before. I think he does great work. He really does, and he provides a great service for people like us that want to speculate about this. We want to know the newest bits, right? We want to know, we want to dig in, we want to speculate about it, we want to have fun, we want to make our content, and he's an important piece of that puzzle, okay? And so, look, we're all trying to figure this out. We're all going to pull together, but I just have to say that at the beginning of this video, depending on what goes on with the Patreons tomorrow, I mean, look, we'll just see. I've considered things where, look, even this live stream might have to go away for a little while because, unfortunately, it just, there's not a lot of news out there. It's going to be hard to put out hours of content, you know what I mean? Hours of shows each week that don't have, they don't have a big poppy thing. Like, there's no new news happening. Right? There's nothing really happening. So it might even be a thing where we might not be able to do this live stream. And instead, we want to focus on content on the main channel and really digging in, taking our time, and putting out great pieces of content about lore, great pieces of content about theories, great pieces of content like that. So, yeah. Jonathan says, can we do the morning stream as a community stream? Well, I tell you, I've considered maybe at least doing the back end of the morning streams a thing where we bring other people on. I think conversation will really help. And I'm going to be talking to the producers about that as well, trying to get some of them on here to do the show. But, look, it's a weird time for everybody, right? So maybe people can't come on to the show because they're busy dealing with things that they've got to deal with. You know what I mean? Yeah, look, it just is what it is. We will get through this. I'm not going to stop making content. 100% not going to stop making content. It's just a matter of, can we really support the growth on the live channel, doing topics like that and putting that out there, while we're also trying to double down and do almost completely new pieces of content. Look, I know you guys don't necessarily understand the YouTube algorithm, but, without a big draw out there for something, we don't have the strength and authority as a channel, even on our channel with 118,000 subscribers. We don't have the authority to just put good content out there and make sure that it gets out to the different people. That doesn't happen. That's just not how things work. So, not my favorite thing to talk about, but it is what it is. Support the people you can. If you can't support people, I totally get it. You know what I mean? Look, it is what it is. It's a strange time. What's the best way to contact you on becoming an EP for the channel? Well, Lucas, while I really appreciate you, wanting to do that, in truth, the EPs, it's I have to keep it at a certain number. I can't. We're at capacity right now, basically. And I'm not saying that you can't support more if you want to. You can support however you want to. But the EPs, I cannot make that number bigger than it is right now. It's already hard enough to try to be in touch with all of these different people and get all the input from all these people, and they're terrific. Honestly, we have a great team right now. Like they're all very unique and very special to the process, and I love it. But I just can't do any more than that. Like it would be great. Like you know what I mean? Like for the business, of course, opening up all of these slots, you know what I mean, and bringing bigger income in through the Patreon would be great. But it's not just about that to me. You know what I mean? Like I just can't support that right now. So, but keep an eye out on it because you never know, man. Like, look, things are tumultuous right now. I've always been very upfront with the EPs, and I said, look, if you cannot continue being an EP, then check out. You know what I mean? Please, I don't want, your life to be hurt by supporting the channel. You know what I mean? Like I never want that. Even if every Patreon that we have, if $10 a month becomes too much, bro, back it down to $1. It's no big deal to us. You know what I mean? If you can't support at all for a little while, no big deal. No big deal. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've got to worry about you. I never want this channel to be a liability for people. At the same time, you know what I mean? Like, this is like my full-time gig, right? So we need to keep the lights on. Literally, we need to keep the lights on. So it is what it is. We will figure it out. But I just wanted to start the show on a little bit more of a somber note today. I just wanted to tell you, look, some things might be changing. And things already are changing for a lot of different people. Fire Chet and free up some payroll. Yeah, look, I would love to. But we pay Chet a quarter a day anyways. You know what I mean? A quarter a day. So, yeah. 500 a month on Patreon, and I'm sure you could find a spot on the team for someone. Not saying you're money hungry, but 500 is 500. Look, I totally get you, Jonathan, but like it has to be in balance, and we got to figure it out. You know what I mean? We will figure it out. We have an amazing support from you guys. The fan base, the hardcore fan base that we have is amazing, and we will get through this. But I'm just telling you, like the reality is, like we could see. Like we've already in the beginning of the year seen a lot of tumultuous things going on in YouTube, and it doesn't look like it's going to get better, at least for the next couple of weeks and months. So, numbers are going to drop, revenue's going to drop, and we just need to be able to survive this time because on the other side of this, folks, and this is honestly what we should be focusing on the other side of this, it's going to be content crazy. It's going to be insanity. It was already going to be crazy in 2021. But now it looks like all that content's going to be squeezed. The back half of this year is going to be redonkulous for content. You know what I mean? Redonkulous. So we should pick back up towards the end of the year. The numbers should really skyrocket. We should be following some nice trends. Everything will get back to normal. But for now, just like many other people, it's going to be rough for a little bit. You know what I mean? It's going to be rough. Chet should pay you to work there. You hear that, Chet? You ugly motherfucker? By the way, folks, enough of talk of all that. You know what I mean? I'm just going to sip my Taylor Lane organic coffee, official coffee of the morning streams here on the Den of Nerds. And man, all those worries I just had. Man, I'm way less concerned about advertisers pulling out of YouTube in troves because of their own bottom lines. I'm suddenly way less concerned that news with Marvel and Star Wars will likely grind to a halt as nothing new is coming out, and our numbers will be affected quite badly. That tastes like freedom. That tastes like freedom. All right, put me on the big screen, chat. I'm kind of feeling this beat, to be honest with you. By the way, are you guys staying physically active? This is one thing that I have to work on. I have to get more physically active. This is probably TMI, too much information for you. But my ass muscles are disappearing. like completely. And so I'm getting I'm sitting in this freaking chair for hours on end each day trying to make content and figure stuff out. And my ass is slowly disappearing. So you might see like I'm like shrinking a little bit, like down, like on Mondays shows or Mondays videos, I might be like this. You know what I mean? I'm like, my ass is disappearing, everybody. I don't know what to do. Ah! Yeah, no, but it actually is. It's like I can't even sit in this chair for long periods of time. I feel like I got to do like some Pilates or something to get it going. But anyways, I want to talk to you folks. I want to talk to you guys. Chat, pause the music. This is serious. It's actually not that serious. I want to talk to you guys about Captain Marvel Deux. Okay, Captain Marvel Deux. We know this movie's coming out, despite what some people were trying to get us to believe, right? You remember when there were all those people doing those videos where they're like, Marvel's lost faith in Captain Marvel. I doubt they'll make another Captain Marvel movie and all that. You know what I mean? Hey, idiots. Anyway, I want to read from a rumor, okay? This was posted in a couple of different subreddits. I don't know where it actually originates from, okay? But the thing is right now we're getting these cabin fever plot leaks where, like, we thought it was bad before. Now it's just, like, crazy. Like, everybody's stir crazy. Everybody's just coming up with the wildest shit. And so I'm not even reporting this as, like, oh, this is probably going to happen. Or, oh, this could happen. No, I'm not even reporting. I don't even know. However, there's some interesting things in this made-up, probably, plot leak that I did want to discuss with you, okay? So it's a rumor. However, interesting stuff going on in here, okay? So I'm just going to read right from it, and then I want to talk about it. Marvel has had meetings with multiple female directors about helming the project. I believe that. The release date is unknown. Marvel is positioning it for a 2022 release. Yeah, no shit. I think that was already out there. Sword is the central focus of the movie. Samuel L. Jackson and Kobe Smulders are returning to reprise their roles. Ben Mendelsohn and Jude Law are also returning. Seems very plausible. We have a lot of evidence to suggest that Sword is playing a big role in the MCU moving forward, likely to be established in WandaVision, which I also find really weird, but let's continue. The film will deal with Carol Danvers as an official agent of Sword, assembling the A-Force to fight against a massive cosmic threat. Okay, so my spidey sense starts tingling there. Not really into that, but let's read on. A-Force members include Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, Spider-Woman, Scarlet Witch, Mighty Thor, Valkyrie, and Spectrum. Again, Spider-Woman, which we'll get into later. What the hell? Let's read on. Here's where things get interesting. Megan McDonnell pitched a sequel as a heavily inspired by Aliens and the Space Odyssey, or A Space Odyssey, and almost cosmic horror. The film will deal with the Sword base being compromised by a rare alien threat. The threat is the Brood, who are laying eggs on the Sword base and possessing agents. It turns out that only male operatives can get compromised, which leads to the formation of A-Force. Talk about that in just a second. Carol and the other female heroes of the Marvel Universe must stop the spread of the Brood and their influence across the galaxy. It turns out that the species are operating as parasites and have been secretly conquering planets in the universe. In order to kill them, they must kill the Empress Brood, which means going to the homeworld. The film will be similar to Thor Ragnarok. 95% of it will take place in space, and it'll be a complete and tonal visual departure from the original. Okay, now, like I said, we don't know for sure. We have no idea whether or not this could be actually true. We're treating it as like the most rumory of rumor things that you can think of. Oh, and James, whoa, James, thank you so much for the super chat. How come I didn't get a notification and all that for that? Holy cow, $50 super chat. Keeping the lights on over here. James Heaton, thank you, brother. I appreciate it very much, man. Let me just read this super chat here, because that's a big deal. I just want to let you know how inspiring you are. I've moved all my karate classes to Zoom since the thing that shall not be named keeps people at home. When the stream opens, I find myself saying to the students, hello, hello, all you beautiful people. Oh, that's awesome, James. And I appreciate it. And I'm glad that you're able to move your business online with the martial arts. That is really cool, man. And I appreciate the amazing amount of support that you have given to us here on the channel. I really do appreciate it. Okay, so getting back to this A-Force thing, this is something that I've talked to you all a lot about, is the fact that, like, if they just do an A-Force movie, I'm not going to like it. Like, I'm just not going to like it. It just feels so pandering. It feels so unorganic. It feels weird. However, this explanation given in this story would actually be pretty cool. It reminds me of a storyline from Young Justice where there was some kind of parasite, and help me out with this, folks. Help me out with this. There was a storyline in Young Justice where I believe all the adults were in some kind of either dream state or they were also having some kind of parasite on them, right? And so if they did something like this where all the male operatives were affected by the brood, right? And the brood is taking out all of the males, and you need a group of females to band together to save the Marvel Universe, I'm into it. It fixes my biggest issue with what could be the problem with A-Force. Okay? And so even though this is just a rumor, and who knows, which by the way, let's take just one step back here. The one thing, believe it or not, that actually could be happening still behind the scenes and with Marvel and all of those things is actually scripting and stories for movies beyond this year. Because those things could still be being developed, like the Thor Ragnarok stuff. There's another Thor Ragnarok leak, which I might go over today. Again, who knows? Like, we're all stir crazy. It could just be people bored. However, it is the work that would be being done still. Given what's going on in the world right now, it could still be happening, right? So, very interesting. Could it actually be happening? And would fans like this? Because here's the way I feel about it. I feel as though it's, if you combine it with Secret Invasion, you do a great job with the lead up to it on that Disney Plus show. If they are going to do a Disney Plus show that leads up to it, I think it's an interesting take on Secret Invasion to have the Brood, not the Skrulls, be the one that's possibly invading and invading in a secret sort of way. That's a very interesting spin on Secret Invasion. And if they do it that way, I think it could still be very passable. I think people would still show up for that movie. But here's the thing. Here's the big difference between, I think, Marvel and their ability to make a film like that work and DC and what they did with Birds of Prey, and they were obviously not able to get that to work. Because if Marvel still has a lot of other properties out there, you know what I mean? Like, we just roll off of a Disney Plus show and we go into it, and the fact that in the film, you're still going to have Nick Fury, you're still going to have male characters that'll be in the movie and likely not all just be shit on like they were in Birds of Prey, right? That will help out. But also the fact that there's still a ton of, let's say, male-focused superhero stuff coming out that year, very close in conjunction to that film, and continuing on. And so A-Force, Captain Marvel 2 A-Force, might be a movie that, like, hey, a lot of female Marvel fans will get very excited about. They're like, hell yeah, this is awesome. And a lot of male Marvel fans that might not normally consider going to check out a movie like that might be okay with doing it because they've already got a bunch of their toys already, right? I always love to make this analogy with the toys because Feige is very good at giving every Marvel fan enough toys so they're all happy, you know? So I think that this A-Force movie, if done in an organic way, which is described in this rumor, and done in a way where there's a ton of other content out there for male Marvel fans, and done in a way where there's still a huge draw for male Marvel fans to the film, I think it could be very successful. And it would be great for the female fans that would love that, and then they would go on and cosplay and do all their sort of things. It's totally cool. I don't want to take anything away from any fans that like that sort of stuff. But what I've always said is if you just do an A-Force movie for the sake of doing an A-Force movie, it feels too pandering to me. I won't care. I just frankly won't care. So I'm wondering what you guys think about that. What do you think? Do you think this could work? Do you think that doing it in an organic way like this would shed some of the criticism that the film could possibly have? Or do you still think people would, by and large, mostly reject this movie? I'm very interested in what you think about that. So let's get back into chatting. Because I want to know. I want to know what the people think. What do you all think about that? Coachella Coastal says, sounds dope. Robert says, non-comic fans find Captain Marvel appealing. That is what I've found from the females I know of all ages, teen to middle age, who saw the film in theaters on Disney Plus. They enjoy the characters. Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. And that's the thing, right? Like, I think a lot of, like, that's why I would never want to take away from, someone's enjoyment of it. I remember when I walked out, I really, really, really liked Wonder Woman, and I tried to get a lot of the females in my life to go see it, just because like it was a way to have a shared experience, right? Like I love nerddom, I love fandom, I love those experiences, I love superheroes, I love big epic stories like that. And so I told my sister, I was like, hey man, like I really think you should see you should see Wonder Woman. So, it's this female sort of empowerment movie. I love the character. We could something for both of us, and we went and saw it, and we had a great time. You know what I mean? I believe I took a girlfriend at the time to go see Wonder Woman as well. Yeah, and it was really cool. It was really cool to sort of have that shared experience. And I remember walking out of the theater here in Pittsburgh, actually, before I moved here, and there was this young girl, man, and just walking out of the theater, she just had this face like that, and she was like blown away. And I think that shit's so cool. But on the flip side of that, it's like, look, also there's a lot of that stuff that's pandering. Also, there's a lot of that stuff that just isn't that, like, it's not that appealing to me. And so I've always felt like you need to give everybody the toys, and you need to have an organic reason for it. Grey Dawn says, excited. Hector says, I would enjoy an A-Force movie. If it's Marvel, I'll watch. Amen. I would watch it. Some of my friends won't if it's pandering. Yeah. Jay Ort says, feels forced, but at least not everyone cosplays as Harley. Yeah, right? Captain Pennsylvania says, A-Force would still sell. It would really be exciting for me. It's Marvel, though, it wouldn't really be exciting for me. It's Marvel, though, so I'm still watching. So are most of us. Yeah. I got you. So Justin says, so female fans would rather see a female Thor, a female Hulk, and a female Spider-Man over the originals like Rogue, who has her own origins and powers. Weird. That's an interesting point. I don't know the exact answer to that, brother. I don't think it's completely fans. I think a lot of this is still corporate think. You know what I mean? And honestly, you can't even really blame them. So, like, for instance, with Lady Thor or female Thor, right? Like, I've seen this argument a lot where it's like, why don't they just create a new female character? Well, it's obvious, right? Even new male characters don't really do well, right? I mean, like, it's very rare to create a totally new comic book character, no matter the sex, no matter what, and to have it work, right? And so they did the Thor thing to sell. You know what I mean? It's the same reason that freaking Spider-Man was in like so many different comics in like the 90s and even now. It's because it'll sell, right? So some of it isn't so much that like fans would rather, it's that the company would rather, because the chances of the popularity happening is way bigger. I mean, think about it. Like, Justin, you can make that same argument about the Red Hulk, right? Like, oh, Red Hulk's just living in the shadow of Hulk. Why don't they make a new character with crazy powers like that? Why has he got to be a Hulk? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's the same kind of argument. Rogue would be amazing, though, for sure. Brood is an X-Men villain, dude. Look, the Brood. I'm very happy that we could have the Brood in the MCU now. That'd be cool. But there are many original female characters who haven't been used yet. Yeah, and you know who one of those characters is? Is Spider-Woman. Spider-Woman. What is the deal with Spider-Woman? In fact, let me ask you guys, would you like to go into the theater and watch a video about Spider-Woman? We can do this like in class where we used to have the VHS jockey teachers. Oh, yeah, I'm older than I look. By the way, pardon me while I take a sip of this official morning stream coffee, Taylor Lane organic delicious coffee. Oh, my God. Suddenly, I'm far less concerned with the crazy amounts of power that we're giving the federal government and the combining of the private sector and government in the wake of all of this scare. Suddenly, I'm way less concerned about it. Suddenly, I'm way less concerned about crazy fringe stories I've heard about people getting things without even being in contact with everyone and the possibilities that things are way worse and being hidden from us. Oh, my God. Taylor Lane Organic Coffee, the official coffee of the morning stream. It'll make you feel better about your life. Get some today. Mav, where you at with that link, brother? Okay. Do you guys want to go into the theater and watch this video? Mike Porter says yes. Captain Pennsylvania says Spider-Woman is boring. She was only cool in New Avengers. Heard that. Heard that, brother. Dan the man says that coffee is the truth. Yo, believe you me, this coffee is the truth. Suddenly, I'm way less worried about Sony Pictures ruining everything. Trev, yeah. Are you over in Canada, brother? You might have yeah, that might be a little tricky. Okay, let's go to the theater. Everybody get in. Everybody come on into the theater, and you'll love what's on the screen. Remember this bullshit from yesterday? Chet, how dare you put this stupid... You're killing me. Killing me, Smalls. You're killing me, Smalls. Don't worry, folks. I'm on it. We're going to get this here. We're going to get this here trailer going on. Put your smartphone can. Pause it. Hang on, we gotta adjust the sizing right quick. This is a video by the comic historian, Benny, the comic historian. I've actually met Benny before. I did a panel with him at a Comic-Con before. Very nice man. Very nice dude, man. Very nice guy. Does good work. I like Benny. I like Monsieur Benet. Yes, Monsieur Benet. Okay, so we're going to watch this video. It's only about 6 minutes. I am going to skip ahead a little bit, though, because... Just because. I'm going to go up to her. Because I've only read Jessica Drew in like a little bit here and there. She always seems to be a background character. I know she played a very big role in Secret Invasion and like the lead up into Secret Invasion. But like I don't even really remember a lot of that. Like I remember like the beginning with Hogan. And I remember the crazy thing in the Savage Land. And I remember Tony Stark going nuts. And I remember a lot of stuff like that. I remember she had like a Skrull kid or something. But like, why? Why is she so important? So let's watch this video together. Hey, look, stop elbowing each other and just find a seat and sit down, please. There's no reason for all this craziness. Oh, I have YouTube Premium. The dealio is, though, when you do the browser feature through Streamlabs, it, like, does a whole new dilly-dally. A whole new dilly-dally, you know what I mean? I love Comic Story channel. Benny is awesome. Yeah, Benny is good people. Okay, here we go. Anything from
legends to lore to the origins of superheroes to generic things like the Baxter Building. We'll answer them all, and when we start to craft the next script in the series, we'll be looking through your comments. So this brings us to the question that we were asked. Who is Spider-Woman?
Who
And
is
why does she
Spider-Woman?
always pop up in the background of the Avengers comics? Now,
Hey, man, she's always in the background of the Avengers comics. Who is this lady?
before we can go into her origin, I think you need to understand why she was created.
Yeah, let's understand that.
Back in the late 1970s, Stan Lee was concerned with losing the copyrights to characters they may want to use eventually. So they created Spider-Woman for a single issue of the Marvel Spotlight to ensure that they had the copyright good to go in case they ever wanted to get back to it.
Yeah, so this was a time period where they were like, hey, we need to explore out, do a bunch of these things for the first time so that we can have the copyrights to all of these different things. Yeah.
The original Spider-Woman was actually a spider evolved into a human. Now, in Earth 616, this version of Jessica Drew has the powers of the increased strength, agility, and stamina that most spider people seem to have. She can also shoot venom blasts out of her hands as she builds up energy inside of her. And
I will say this, the costume is very cool, and she's sexy. You know what I mean? That goes a long way. The costume looks great, and she's sexy. There's a lot of things in comics that are just that simple. Like, everyone's like, why does everybody love Dr. Fate? And it's like, because that helmet is dope. You know what I mean? Sometimes, as they say in Philly, it ain't that deep. Let's continue.
And she can stick to walls. She's also immune to any form of contaminant. Now, during the Skrull invasion,
She's immune to any form of contaminant? No wonder she's so popular right now. Any form of contaminant?
she gained the
I see what
ability
you're
to
doing.
fly, and it's unspecified to what extent she can actually do this. The most interesting power she has, though, is her pheromones, as they can be used to create great fear in somebody or attract someone or repel them. This power is so strong that she can actually use it to control the Hulk and force him to make her a sandwich.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I gotta go over that again. So she's got pheromones and
To
stuff?
fly, and it's unspecified to what extent she can actually do this. The most interesting power she has, though, is her pheromones, as they can be used to create great fear in somebody or attract someone or repel them. This
Holy crap. Okay, so she's got pheromones where she can make someone afraid and make someone really, really attracted to her. This is interesting. Okay. I'm digging it a little bit
power
more.
is so strong that she can actually use it to control the Hulk and force him to make her a sandwich. Now,
Hope you
early in
like
her
this.
lifespan-
Hulk, hope you like. Hulk really feeling you now. Hulk swipe right on Tinder for Spider-Woman.
It would seem like no one knew what to do with this character, and that was revealed sadly in her print history. Right from her beginnings, things were a little clueless, so let's look at her history before we can go to where she is now.
Yo, did she get it on with the Hulk? I want to know right now in chat, guys. I want to know right now. Do you think that Hulk and Spider-Woman got it on? I need to know. You let me know in chat.
Originally, it was revealed that she wasn't actually a spider evolved into a woman, but those were implanted memories by Hydra. She then spent a
Captain Pennsylvania says, yes, and I have the photos.
period in which she scared everybody she knew until it was written in that this was due to her pheromone ability causing fear in people. But as time went on, the public saw her as nothing more than a cash grab on Spider-Man, and even with an animated TV series in her name, she never became the top seller that Marvel was really hoping her to become. So by issue 20, things were already getting rocky with rotating writers and artists. Due to this, everything that made her unique was basically thrown out, and she was put up against criminal masterminds and stuck with the normal love interest who loves the costume but has no idea it's her routine that we see quite frequently. This ended up getting heavily criticized because everything that made her unique was gone and the fans started to leave. To make matters worse for her, at issue 32, the writers were swapped out again and now she was a private investigator. With sales continuing to plummet, the series was getting criticism for the rotating writers, so Marvel canceled the book at issue 50. They actually killed her off in the finale.
What?
Then, due to the fan uproar, she was revived in issue 240 and 241 of the Avengers. After that, she got shuffled off to guest appearances for about 4 years. It would be almost 10 years before Mark Gruenwald tried to bring her back as a team-up character for Spider-Man. He wrote it into one issue, but before he could write any follow-up issues, he passed away, sadly, and her return was written off as being non-canon. After a few more appearances,
Yeah, man, that John. There's John, and then there's Jaunt. You know, there's the Philly slang. You know, it's the deep end of the pool, man. Just dive in, just let it roll. And also, total side note, I've been playing spades my whole life, but until I was playing with people in, like downtown Philly, like that is some wild ass spades. They play spades wild in Philly. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Let's continue.
She would eventually be written in as a title member of the New Avengers by Brian Michael Bendis. Now this is the most recent version of Spider-Woman to continue onward, and the one that you end up seeing as a background character. Her origin was slightly different also. This time around, she got her powers from her mother's womb being hit by a laser beam containing the DNA traits of several spiders. The goal was to take the spider traits and graft them to the human genome. Well, after her parents went missing, she was recruited by Hydra and trained under Taskmaster. Eventually, she learned...
Yeah, that is an interesting shot. I'm feeling something like millions of years of evolution. There's just something about this shot. There's a primal thing going on. Anyway.
Learns of Hydra's true nature after trying to assassinate Nick Fury. Shortly after that, she was recruited into the New Avengers, but after 4 years of working on the team, it was revealed that in Secret Invasion, it wasn't actually Jessica Drew, and she has been held captive by the Skrulls ever since she joined the New Avengers.
Okay, so I think this is literally where a lot of the popularity comes from, because as you know, we've been sort of watching this video, and it's like it seems like she's had like this rocky start, you know, and it's such a fan thing, right? Where like fans don't care enough about the character to keep the sales up. You'll notice this in comics even today. They don't care enough about the character to keep the sales up, but then when it goes away, they riot, right? Similar thing happened to Collider actually, and I know everybody was like. It was weird when that whole thing went down. But the truth is, man, people cared way more after it went away than they did even watching the show and all that. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
She did return properly and take her place from her imposter on the Avengers, though. But that all happened after the Secret Invasion. After that, she got a limited-run solo series, but overall, the poor girl is back to being on the supporting cast for what seems like almost every Avengers book. As of right now, she is a regular on the Secret Avengers though, so here's to hoping that she can actually get back to being a top seller for Marvel. It really comes down to if they can find a good role for her and they don't just start to shuffle her around forever again. Now what makes Jessica Drew's Spider-Woman interesting is that she is one of the many characters to get a complete rewrite to the point of not even being the same character in the Ultimate Universe.
Yeah.
In the Ultimate Universe, she's actually a carbon copy clone of Peter Parker Spider-Man.
Now look, I can't help but think that the carbon copy clone, the female clone version of this character, is the version they're going to go for. The original Ultimates run was actually really adapted heavily to the MCU. That is literally where a lot of the MCU stuff comes from. It doesn't come from the 616 comics. It originally came from a lot of the Ultimates comics. Number one, and most obvious, is the fact that the Nick Fury in the Ultimates universe is black, and he looks like Sam Jackson. Okay? So a lot of stuff was developed from the Ultimates universe, and I loved the Ultimates universe, man. Particularly those first couple big events, the run of the Ultimates, like literally, Ultimate Spider-Man was dope. I was a big fan of the Ultimates. I really love the Ultimates Reed Richards and Ultimate Doom with the goat legs and shit like that. It's really cool. So I'm interested in. We just watched this whole video about Jessica Drew in the normal 616. Not that interesting, guys. You know, the pheromone things is kind of cool. Ha ha, tongue in cheek. We can make some jokes. She made Hulk make her a sandwich. You know, talk about flipping the script. But there's not. I really hope they do the Ultimates version. So let's watch on. But I'm kind of hoping we get the Ultimates version of Jessica.
But she's a girl. Yep, in that universe, she is introduced in the Clone Saga as a female clone of Parker. She has all of his memories and powers and is supposed to eventually be used by the CIA as their own spider person. But before Cassandra Webb can give her the fake memories to make her officially Jessica Drew, she fled and kept all of her memories of her actually being Peter Parker.
So she has all the memories of being Peter?
She was actually considered a transsexual character since she basically is just Peter Parker in a girl's body.
Holy shit. Okay, so that's wild. She's legitimately trans in that sense because she's Peter's mind in a female body. That is wild.
Now, over time, she eventually took the name of Jessica Drew, and following the Clone Saga, Marvel got iffy as to what to do with her, so she more or less got shoved off to being a background character again. They were so iffy in using her because of the whole idea of her being a transsexual character that when Peter Parker actually died in that series, they didn't even allow her to come back and even say a few words. You would think if the person I was cloned after just got killed, I would at least show up and be like, oh wow, that sucks. But nope, Marvel was too iffy about it. Now, with the recent Ultimate Spider-Man issues, she has pretty much forgotten most of Parker's memories and officially has stated that she doesn't know who or what she is anymore. And she's an assistant to Miles Morales, practically.
Wow. Okay. That's really interesting. I mean, look, there's a lot of room for them to do some very interesting stuff with that. That just seems way more interesting to me than the other Jessica Drew. You know what I mean? So, look, I don't know. I mean, this video helped a little bit, but it's like, I don't know. Well, now we know why the hype for her is there. First trans in the MCU. Look, maybe. But then it gets into one of those things where it's like, how would even that community even feel about this character? Because that's such a on-the-nose version of that issue. Do you know what I mean? Very interesting. Very interesting. I don't know, folks. I don't know what to do with that. I don't know what to do with all of that. Anyway, let's pull out. Let's pull out of the theater. Pull out of the theater, guys. Wash your hands. There's soap. We put a lot of Purell up. You know what I mean? So please just do a little. Wash your hands up a little bit and take care. Take care as to not pass your germage. Your germage. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's the story of Jessica Drew. Who knows why they're so excited about it? I don't know. I don't think it's the trans thing. I really don't. I don't. But you know what else is really interesting about the Spider-Mans and that whole universe? Yesterday I ran a scoop. Well, I didn't scoop it, but it came from the Illuminati. Sony, 2 more. Oh, pardon me. 2 more Sony Marvel movies being developed. Did you guys see the video on the main channel yesterday? If not, you should watch it. And even if you did see it, you should watch it again. We could use the ad revenue. Get over there and watch the video. Anyway, go over there and check that out. There's 2 really interesting characters being developed. One is Solo, who was basically like a Jason Bourne, like a weird Jason Bourne character. Literally, his name's James Bourne. He's kind of like a ripoff of the Bourne Identity. You know what I mean? And that whole thing. So that character is being introduced. That's really wild. And then on top of that, they're thinking about introducing Man-Wolf. I think Man-Wolf is way more interesting than Solo. But what it shows is Sony is trying to get different kinds of characters, different versions of characters, and fill out their universe with a ton of interesting stuff. Like that Solo character, like, I don't know, we might think it's cool. We might not be that into it. But it could fill a role. You know what I mean? Like Spider-Man and the Punisher hanging out would be very interesting to see as a film. Well, they don't have the Punisher. They've got Solo. Do you know what I mean? So you could see something like that where that character is sort of a replacement for like a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, that kind of thing, espionage, that kind of thing, which could be really interesting. Man-Wolf is really interesting. And as Russell pointed out yesterday in the comments, we do see that character in the Venom movie. Okay? That character is potentially one of the astronauts, I believe, that comes back and brings the symbiote with it from space. So there's potential there for that character to be sort of developed and transferred into the Man-Wolf character, which would be very, very cool. So let me know what you guys think about that. But you know what? Let's just get right into Q&A. We're probably only going to go for like 10 or 15 more minutes. So please, let's just get into that Q&A, folks. If you have a question, drop it in. Drop it on in. We'll get to as many questions as we can. And we'll just go for a little bit here, doing the dang thing. I also want to say, too, as the questions are coming in, man, was really looking forward to the Clone Wars. The new episode came out. Finally, we get to see where Ahsoka is at. Guys, I'm not trying to, like, rain on anybody's parade. I'm not trying to crap on anything. I'm just kind of over the Clone Wars. This season, it's cool. Would have been way cooler if it all came out as it was supposed to way long ago. This first episode with Ahsoka was whatever. Like, she's just living her life, not being a Jedi. She's in the bottom lower levels of Coruscant, which is interesting. But there's this whole plot line with these two sisters that she meets and all these people she gets to hang. I don't care. I'm not trying to watch slice of life Ahsoka, what her life is like after leaving the Jedi Order. I don't care. I want to see her with sabers. I want to see her using the Force. I want to see her assaulting Mandalore. I want to see her doing her own thing. I don't care about the slice of life Ahsoka Tano episode. I don't care. I'm not saying that you have to feel the way that I do. You can enjoy it. Maybe you loved it. For me, I don't care. And I'm like this close to really just not caring about the Clone Wars at all. I'm sure we're going to get to some really cool stuff. You know what I mean? I'm sure that we will. But I don't care. Don't care. Older brother equals Anakin, probably Star Wars Santa. And I just don't care. So let's get them questions in. Wish we could do a Star Wars quarantine. Well, we kind of are. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm not really doing much Star Wars right now, and I really don't have any intention to. Do some stuff on Star Wars Sunday. I have a couple of interesting videos that are coming out, but I don't really care. And all the stuff with like the novelization, the Rise of Skywalker novelization, I don't even think I'm going to read it. You know what I mean? That's just where I'm at. Just don't care about it. Why don't they do anything with Wonder Man? Mike Porter says. That is really interesting. That's an interesting question. I like Wonder Man. Wonder Man's a good character. I don't know. Look, there's plenty of characters I'm sure they have like sort of on their short list of characters they would like to bring in and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know if Wonder Man is one of those characters. Wonder Man's real strong though. Isn't like there's a connection between like Wonder Man and Vision, right? Where like that they imprinted Vision's mind with Wonder Man's mind, right? He was better than Iron Man back in the day? Interesting. There are some good stuff coming out from Image and Boom. Maybe you should check them out. Even have the shows coming. They have shows coming for some stuff? That's cool. Thoughts on if the Knights of Ren will turn out to be Sith Eternal Cult creations, which is why they don't remove the masks and why they were on Exegol? I'm not understanding the question, Robert. Like, are you saying that there's some kind of proof that they were on Exegol, or are you talking about the Sith Eternal Cultists being on Exegol? I mean, it is interesting to me that the Sith Eternal were still out there, and I'm hoping that there's some connective tissue from the High Republic as to why the Sith Eternal were out there, how all of that came together. For sure, that would be really cool. Vision has the mind of Wonder Man. Yeah, but didn't Wonder Man become... what's his face? I don't really know what you're talking about there, Robert, but I don't know if the Knights of Ren are connected to the Sith at all. I'm going to ask you to trust me and stop following everything always and keep turning info here for actual news. No rogue Captain Marvel clickbait. Yeah, no, there's no truth to that rogue stuff at all. AT-AT chat put out a good video covering the novelization. That's awesome, man. I've watched some Star Wars theories stuff on the novel, but that's like another reason why I'm not feeling it, is because a ton of major twists of the book, like they released that novel early to people at C2E2 before the entire world shut down. And look, I'm sorry, like for me, part of the fun is going through the book with everybody at the same time and all of us coming and figuring out all of these things. Almost all of the really interesting stuff from the novel has already been put out there. You know what I mean? Hank Pym just used his mind. He was still himself after a little while. Interesting. Sort of like knowing all the leaks before the movie. I don't really agree. Because the function of the novel is always, in my opinion, to fill out more of the gaps. Like the leaks for the movie are, well, first of all, usually in the like the episode 9 thing was interesting because we were pretty dang sure they were 100% real. And it was more like, how is this all going to play out? There's not a lot of dialogue in the leaks, so there's opportunity to see how things are, exchanged that way. And that's the same thing in the novel. A lot of the juice comes from dialogue, whether it's dialogue internal from the characters or dialogue between the two characters. There's interesting stuff like that that's happened. But to be honest with you, like even some of the stuff like right now, guys, and like look, I'm not even going to go too far down this road, but I'm in a dark place with Star Wars. I'm unconvinced that Lucasfilm cares enough to actually make this connective tissue and all of this stuff even make sense. Like, did you guys know that people asked Matt Martin of the Story Group on Twitter about about Rey's father being a Palpatine clone, and he said, that can't be true. What do you mean, bro? You're on the Story Group. What do you mean that can't be true? And then they tried to walk it back and say that, oh, well, that must be a draft and all this other. Dude, it doesn't matter. Look, the whole thing to me, when I look at it, I'm like, none of these motherfuckers know what's going on. And I think Ray Carson was probably given a lot of carte blanche as far as writing that. And I think the attitude from Lucasfilm and Disney was like, it's not a huge concern to us to make it all make sense. Well, then how am I supposed to be invested? Do you know what I mean? I'm just over it. Oh, what is today's battle? Mike Porter asked. I'm so glad that you asked. So we talked about this. We were trying to think of like, what do we want to do? What do we want to do? Do we want to make everybody angry over the weekend? We decided, yes, let's make everybody angry over the weekend. Today's battle in the battle bracket is Luke Skywalker versus Batman. And I want to know. I want to know what you think. You think Luke's going to wipe the floor with bats? Do you think people are going to be looking at the Skywalker to take him out? The Force is strong? Or will people come to their senses and realize that, yes, Batman would probably beat Luke Skywalker? Who knows? Robert says, you take Matt Martin and Pablo Hidalgo's of the world Twitter responses far too literally. Those people aren't the fact checkers of the universe made to check in with everyone's questions. Well, the belief out there was that that's exactly what they were. They're really more editorial, especially Pablo. That is literally what they are. But look, man, it's fine. If you're feeling it, you're feeling it. That's fine, Robert. I don't want to take any of your enjoyment away from it. Both of them have daddy issues. Star Wars Santa says Ray Carson's draft was submitted. Oh, well, the chat went above it. Ray Carson's draft was submitted before the movie release, so it's not like she was writing it after the fact. She had to have been working with JJ. I've heard that before. Sorry, brother, I just don't buy it. Y'all had Luke beating Goku, so this shouldn't even be a question. Luke all the way? Yeah, but I gotta be honest with you. I actually think Batman will take it. My prediction is that Batman will take it. Star Wars Santa says, Luke! Batman could definitely outsmart the Force. 100%, in my opinion. I think Batman could totally take out Jedi. All you have to do is, like, disrupt their focus. You know what I mean? Disrupt their focus, do different things to throw them off. Like, think about it. When Batman fought Superman, like, he had Superman come in, he had all these, like, missiles and stuff firing at him. He had this, like, electric gun thing that he was firing at him. He had the kryptonite gas. He had all these different things, right? Batman beat Superman. Batman can beat anyone. He could definitely beat a Jedi, in my opinion. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how the voting goes. I'm going to put up the poll probably a little bit after I get off of this video here. Man, everybody really is arguing a lot about that Rogue thing, huh? I mean, look, they could do that with Rogue or whatever. Let me ask you this, because there's a meta thing going on here, right? There's a meta aspect to this where people just want to see Captain Marvel, Brie Larson's character, downpowered. So would you love it if, like, they brought, like, so who do you think would be a great example of, like, a female that is, like, opposite of Brie Larson in a lot of ways, like, just more cool, less snarky, you know, less concerned about, like, you know, social issues, I guess. Like, who would be the perfect Rogue? Because if they cast it in a very meta way, where it's like this Rogue character that's like the girl that, like, the dudes are more about, and then that character took all the power from Captain Marvel, it could work. Who would you guys want to be that character? Like, what actors are you thinking of someone in particular? Sarah Palin? Oh my God, that's hilarious. That is hilarious. Sarah Palin. Sarah Palin is Rogue. Emma Roberts, maybe. Nancy Pelosi. Jennifer Lawrence. I feel like Jennifer Lawrence is very similar to Brie. Robert, I totally get you, brother, and I'm glad you're enjoying it. Totally get you. Glad you're enjoying it. I almost feel like Gal Gadot would be a good counterbalance in that sense. But Gal, I don't really see her as Rogue, and obviously she's Wonder Woman, so that wouldn't happen. Alexandria Daddario. I don't know much about her. I don't know much about her. I actually like the actress that played Rogue in the original X-Men movies, like X1 all the way through X3. I thought she was great. True Detective Season 1? She's in that? Interesting. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Jonathan says, "Did you see all the people video that Gal did? Cringe." Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of all those videos. I'm really glad that we're all like coming together and everybody's doing all that and everything. That's totally fine. I just can't stand it when they have different people singing different parts of songs. Like throws me off for some reason. I just don't like it. Anyway, folks, that's going to do it for today's show. Keep an eye out, man. I'd like to believe that we will continue doing this stream next week, but we might not. You know, look, we might not. I have to meet with the producers tomorrow and have a bunch of phone calls with a bunch of people, but it just might be too hard to be doing this show and trying to cover topics when there's really no news, no new news coming out. We might want to just put the show on hold for a while until things go back to normal and just focus on doing stuff on the main channel. So hopefully you'll see us Monday at 10 a.m. I would love, by the way, we'll still do a lot of streams. Either way, we'll be streaming over here. We just might not be streaming over here every single morning, at least until things go back to normal. So we'll see what it is. Just keep an eye out there. Go check out some of your favorite creators. Go support some of your favorite creators. Things are going to get hard for some of your favorite creators, including us over here. Second Street Marvel says, be on my show next week, Josh. Hey, brother, I'd love to. At least come on one day for sure. So go support some of your favorite creators, guys. Nerds 10 code is now live. So you can get a little discount, I think, with Nerds 10 if you want to go get some of this delicious Taylor Lane organic coffee. Suddenly way less worried about all of the infighting with Star Wars fans and Lucasfilm's state of being in disarray, and I just want to enjoy my Star Wars. That's nice. That's very nice. So thank you guys so much. Go vote in the battle bracket today. Go vote on Twitter. Go vote on Instagram. And go vote on the community tab when I post it in about an hour. I'm going to post it at noon. So check that out. Take care of each other. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day. Chet, roll the outro video. I know you don't have it. Come on, man. I'm just clowning you. What have you been doing this whole stream, by the way? You're just lurking. You're over there. You didn't even help me out with like the trailer thing. You're just lurking. You're just a lurky turkey. Oh, you're really excited about the Star Wars novelization too? Well, good for you, man. I'm glad you're